I'm the Harpy Queen. Queen of the bloody harp.
Queen of the Harpies, Queen of the Harpies. Hi, I'm Derek.
I'm Queen of the Harpies.
And I'm Steve.
Monday.
Hi everyone, welcome to another week here on The Den. So, we've done this topic before, but we're going to do it a little more in depth and probably answer a few of the same questions for people to recap. But we are going to do a whole video on questions frequently asked our triad. Because it happens quite a bit. People are very... And you know, I don't mind it. I mean, I'm happy that people are intrigued by our relationship and ask questions. But we figured, let's answer some of these questions on video.
Alright, so the first one I found here was, what are the boundaries of this kind of relationship?
Oh, we're going to start right with boundaries.
Ooh, number one.
Ooh.
Alright. Well, I think we have pretty good boundaries. I think one of the nicer things about being in a triad is that a lot of couples tend to just do every single thing together because, like, that's the way the world is set up.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't have to do everything together all of the time.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it'd be like, I want to go to this party. Okay, well, you can go, and then, you know, me and Derek will just hang out together.
It actually happened last night. We were out with a bunch of friends. Me and Steve had broken off
That's
earlier
true.
because we went to Pop Day and Derek did his own thing. He met up with us later. So he was still full of energy, and me and Steve were like, oh, we're done.
Yeah,
Right.
and then I went out to the Eagle while they went home. They came home and hung out. So
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
And then, well, I mean, on top of that, we check in with each other regularly. We have a group chat on
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger where we communicate regularly. You know, if we're planning to do something like go out, we always would let each other know. And, like, obviously, if we're late or something, we let people know. Like,
Yeah.
we have responsibilities to one another to, like, be there for one another.
Yeah, we're not bound to just the three of us. Like, we do have our lives and our own different interests, and we encourage each other to seek out our different interests.
However, you know, our relationship comes first, and then everything else is secondary.
Yes.
That's how I would put it. You know.
Yeah.
Just like any relationship, it should be your primary.
Yeah.
Number two, how do I talk to a poly couple?
Oh my, just talk to them.
Yeah, just you start with hello.
Yeah,
Start with hello.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than talking to anybody else, really.
Like, not all of them are, we saw you from across the room, we like your vibe. Like, not all of them are like that. It's just like, sometimes you may talk to the one person and it's like, hey, I'm in a partner. But no, we're poly, it's cool, like, we can talk. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to talk to them like that, and that's fine. If you're asking how do I talk to them because you're interested in them, then I don't know. I guess I just
You have to kind of feel out the boundaries. I would say that
Yeah.
if you're interested in somebody sexually, it's not just a case of being like, I'm interested in you sexually. Because that's really
like
key to
anybody
everybody,
else.
right? How is that different than anybody else?
can I start with can I mention the one thing not to open the conversation with? Looking for a fourth?
Yes, please. No.
Don't, please don't.
Or here's another one. Wow, you have two boyfriends and I can't even get one. How is that fair?
Do not do that, it's not cute.
No.
Yeah.
Cute at all.
What does triad mean to you?
So, I'll kind of start this one. So, triads can be very different. So there's very much, we're what we call a triangle triad. Meaning that if you put all of us at the point of a triangle, we're all connected. It's not like Steve's my boyfriend only and Derek's out getting his own boyfriend. We're all together, like it's a triangle. There's other relationships models where, you know, a partner will take another partner.
Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily call that a triad.
There's
For
the
now.
open, there's the open view
Sure.
where they each have a boyfriend, they each have the same boyfriend, but they're not with each other.
Yeah.
Or there's just a whole polycule, which is just like a
Yeah.
molecule, but kind of
Square and nothing bigger.
If you're familiar with graph theory, it's very helpful.
It is. But in our case, we are a triangle. We're
Yeah.
all connected, and
Yeah,
And that's what triad means to me.
yeah,
And
I agree.
biggest thing is like, I took this from the book The Ethical Slut. You got to treat it like A, B, B, A, like A, B, B, C, C, A.
All right, I'm gonna take this a step further before we go on.
Yeah.
So seeing as we were the first, let's say we're AB. What would you say? How would you describe the dynamics of mine and your relationship?
Whoa,
That is a tough one,
that's
right?
a tough one I was not prepared for.
When
I'm on the spot. I don't have an answer.
Alright, I can describe, if I'm C, because I'm constable,
Yes.
then, wait, who is A? Derek?
Derek will be A. AC.
Oh.
So this is the AC
The
relationship.
AC
Alpha.
relationship, yes. We're like, almost like bros that like to, like go to breweries and go do nature hikes and really like, you know, I feel like Derek unlocks my like, I don't know, my hipster side in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say with me and you, it's like we have a lot of support for each other. Like we're like kind of like something of like a shoulder to lean on at all times, like to lift each other up and look out for each
Okay,
other.
I like that.
Yeah. Plus, we take each other out. We will take each other for dinner. We'll watch out for each other. So really, like, there's like a huge support between the two of us.
Cool. And what about Mr. BC?
Well, I mean, that's obvious. Confident handler.
Yeah. me and Steve
It's
have,
codified.
me and Steve have always had a dominant, submissive kind of relationship. I mean, there's no better way to put it.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, would I say we were ever all like dominant and submissive? No. But that's why Pup fit in so perfectly with us, because it's like, you know, it's like Dom and Sub light, honestly.
It's fun loving.
it's fun Dom and Sub, right?
And Greg doesn't take me seriously as a Dom.
I can't, sorry, no.
You're about to be so
11-year
blessed.
boyfriend. So now,
Trust and believe.
there's only one relationship left, and that's the A, B, and C dynamic. How would you describe that?
It's like a family.
Yeah,
Ooh, I like that.
it is like a family guy. Especially I like being around the house and just, you know, being surrounded by, you know, the different things in your lives. And then it's also, I feel like the ABC dynamic is a lot of when I think of like a traditional relationship. It's like we go out for dates together and we go to the bars together and we like go on vacations together.
And we
That's
all
just, like,
and we
what
all
couples do,
and we
right?
all have our individual roles in the relationship. Like Derek, I would say, is the matronly, like cooking. Matronly is probably not the best word, but you know what I mean. You have that.
Derek's the chef.
He's
Yes.
the chef. He cooks probably 90% of the meals. Yeah, and he's always the one looking out for that kind of stuff. Steve, what do you say you're?
Well, Derek and I like working with Derek on a lot of stuff because we both have that drive to like be the responsible one, and we'll both, you know, take command of a situation. Let's say whether it's like cleaning, cooking, or whatever. But
Cooking, maybe. I don't know. I think taking the lead on the cleaning ends up being me most of the time. To be
Okay.
honest.
or even things like, for example, here's a great example. Whenever we go to leave, Greg will never lock the door. He'll stand there and wait. Derek and I will be rushing to get our keys out because we both want to be the one to lock the door.
It's true. It's true.
Right? That's what I'm trying to say.
That is a good point. That is a good
We're
point.
both the responsible one.
There you go. There you go. And yeah, so I would say my responsibility, as I said, is I'm usually like, oh my god, this place is a mess. We all need to get up and clean. So I tend to be the motivator for like cleaning and stuff like that and getting shit done. Because sometimes these two, as great as they are, they do tend to procrastinate.
How do you deal with jealousy?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, we don't often, I guess, get jealous of each other. I would say we're pretty good on that. But sometimes, you know, if someone's getting close to someone else, maybe, then it's like any other relationship, I think, where my way of approaching it is just talk to them, be a little blunt, because that's like my style. I like to address things head on, rather than dancing around them.
Yeah.
And then hug it out.
Yeah.
Head on, apply directly to the forehead.
Head on.
Yeah, like if you're ever in these situations, you feel jealousy, don't let it bottle up. Let the feelings out, but just talk about it. Don't be reactionary about it.
I'm the one who often says in a relationship, when jealousy does crop up, because it does happen from time to time.
It will.
When jealousy crops up, you have to step back and you have to ask yourself, okay, is this jealousy being caused by an action the other person's doing? Or is it fundamentally because something yourself, is the jealousy coming from a place of insecurity of yourself, something that you're insecure about your own body, or so, and most times it is. It's not really anything the other person's doing. Once you identify it, it makes it easier.
That takes incredible analysis.
It does. And it is, and in the moment, it is not the easiest thing to do. As somebody who's faced it recently, hindsight's always 20/20. I'm like, okay, I know why I was jealous now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're ever gonna get through all these questions.
No,
we will.
Well,
all right.
What does your family think?
Oh,
they're really supportive.
They're actually really supportive. Surprisingly supportive, I would say.
Yeah, I would say all three families. We're pretty lucky at this point. I mean, here's the funny thing about my own family. I thought that my family wouldn't approve, so I never really. They knew, but I never really had a conversation about it. So at Christmas time last year, I went home, and it was extremely surprising to me how welcome all of my family was.
Like, your aunt was asking, how do I get this?
Yeah, like,
me and Derek, it wouldn't work with
me and Derek are both from really, really small towns, so to have our families as open to it as they were, it was great.
Like, we took Steve home for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, it was just like, welcomed into the family with open arms. Yeah. And even like with my brother, sister-in-law, and the kids, the nieces, nothing was different. It was like somebody else new to play games with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun.
Now that my parents are moving back to Nova Scotia, we could finally do Christmas where we visit all three families.
That would be good sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you deal with nothing accommodating your relationship?
That is a pain in the ass.
Oh
not gonna lie.
Fucking God.
Our most recent thing that we endured to try to figure out was how to handle apartment insurance.
Yeah, it's true. They were initially going to deny us because we were three unrelated people living in a rental unit, and that would be an auto decline. But I explained to the insurance agent that we were not unrelated. We were in like a intimate relationship with one another. And then they came back a while later and they're like, okay, if you want to insist on getting all your three names on the insurance policy, then we can. Well, that is what I would want to do.
Yeah, and we even had an issue once with buying. We were going to buy a condo.
And it was a one and a half bedroom condo.
One bedroom plus den.
Right.
And they advertised the den as a second bedroom, but legally, a solarium is not a legal bedroom.
And in Toronto has laws in place that you cannot have three people in a one bedroom apartment.
Because it's a fire hazard, apparently.
Yeah. Which is very surprising because I mean, honestly, we know lots of people in Toronto that do it in apartment buildings. But with condos, you're kind of dealing with different legalities and condo boards that can check you out and make you sell.
Yeah, if you get kicked out of an apartment, it's not a big deal.
You just move on to another apartment.
If you get kicked out of your condo, you're fucked. Because they can force you to sell it below market rate.
So there's definitely that. There is legal challenges to being in a triad for sure that come up.
Even I remember when we were getting our first lease on our old apartment, and I had you both listed as my partner. The agent for the landlord called me, and she's like, "You have boyfriend on here twice. Do you mean one and then the other one?" And I'm like, no, I don't mean that.
Wow.
They wouldn't both be on the lease if it was one and then the other one.
Yeah. But there's even like everything is kind of like when you're trying to do like specials and whatnot, it's for two or.
Yeah. Remember when you won the 2 tickets to Drag Race or the drag show at the Phoenix?
Yeah. So, but I had to study for exams at that point, so I just gave them the tickets. But it's just like there's always just like there's always just +1. There's never +2.
It can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Is it a relationship or just sex?
I don't even think we need to dignify that with an answer.
No, it's a relationship.
Based on our other questions, you can see it's just a normal relationship with 3 people.
Yeah. What is the most rewarding thing about your relationship?
Oh wow. That's a great question. I think the most rewarding thing for me, and I think this is an easier answer for me to give, is Derek and Greg already have this hugely long, but when I met them, 7-year history together, and they know each other so well, and they know how to support one another, and I kind of get to benefit from that in a way where, you know, if I'm feeling emotionally unstable for whatever reason, I have both of them to rely on, which is really awesome.
I think that's a great answer.
I think that's fantastic.
For me, it's great because there's always stuff in a relationship. How do I say this? That you, when you're with somebody, there's always stuff that you have common interests about. There's stuff that you don't have common interests, and then you sometimes in relationships you end up faking interests. That we don't really have to do that because I have interests with Steve, I have interests with Derek, they have interests with each other, and we kind of we fill in all of those holes.
You don't have to be someone's everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the outdoorsy stuff. I don't like outdoorsy stuff. I never have. But I mean, I always used to do it for Derek, right? But now I don't have to. If I literally don't feel like doing something that's outdoors, Steve jumps in. He's like, "Yeah, I'll do it with you."
I'm gonna queue up those geocaching videos we did where you were good at the geocaching.
I was good at geocaching. I'm not saying I completely hate outdoor stuff, but I mean, probably 80% of the time, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just chill.
I just like the freedom that we have, that where we have each other, we lift each other up, but we encourage each other to do our own things and find our own interests and explore our own interests.
And then for me and Steve, we've got the whole puppy thing because Derek is starting to discover that the puppy world may not be his thing, which is fine.
Yeah.
But that's something that me and Steve can share, and you know, Derek can jump in when he wants to jump in. You know?
And then Derek and I can go for date night at a fancy Asian restaurant.
Yeah.
That will serve any food that you like.
It's true.
Bottoming after Vindaloo.
Oh God.
All right, next question.
All right. That's related to the last question, is what makes each of your partners special?
I think we just answered that.
Yeah.
Indirectly.
And what is one thing that people tend to misunderstand about your relationship?
That we're all together. Like that.
Didn't you say someone you were talking to was like, do your partners know about each other?
Oh, that's one question I've had before. Do your partners know about each other? Or what is the setup of your relationship? Are the 3 of you together?
Yeah.
Or are you just sharing a
It's funny because like we had a friend recently approach Derek and say, so what is the dynamic of your relationship? Or like Greg and Steve together, and then you and Greg are together, and this is somebody we've known for a long time, so it actually surprised me that they didn't know. But I mean, again, that's why you ask questions, right? So yeah, it's interesting to me that because I mean, people don't just automatically assume we're all together.
Yeah.
They think that maybe me and Steve are together, or Derek and Steve are together, or whatever.
We basically, just like I said earlier in the Ethical Slut, treat each relationship as its own relationship, but then don't forget the triangle is the strongest shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Triangle is the strongest shape.
Like, even though Steve came in 5 years ago, he's not the side chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I think I actually wanted to touch on that. So for a while, I was in a polyamory Canada group on Facebook,
Yeah.
and one of the arguments that led to me leaving that group was, I mean, it was mostly there because it was people's first time and they wanted to bitch about their jealousy, which, like, I get it, but I don't need that in my life all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing that drove me nuts is there's almost this dogma amongst the people who practice polyamory in the straight world that triads can't work.
Yeah, like we've seen triads come and go. And we've seen triads have been together for like 10, 15, 20 years.
They say that couples who are looking for a third are unicorn hunters and that they're bad because they're not going to treat their third as an equal in their already pre-existing relationship. And I was like, that's bullshit, because I'm in a triad right now and it has none of the problems that you're talking about. So it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think fairly early on in the relationship, because I mean, obviously in the beginning of the new relationship, we're like, yeah, we're the primary and then you're the secondary.
Yeah.
But I think that that dichotomy changed pretty quickly. Like, I don't feel like, you know, there was a long period where you were the like the third person in the relationship. You know what I mean? You were an equal.
I was in Final Fantasy. I wasn't the guest member of the party that's AI controlled.
Right. That's a good way to put it. So yeah, I mean, you were taken in as an equal pretty early on, I would say.
Oh, any other
That's
notes
it.
that you want to add? Oh, we did it! Yeah.
Anyway, my final thoughts are just don't shit on somebody else's parade, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you don't understand the relationship, this could be taken in any context outside of polyamory as well.
Yeah.
But why shit on somebody else's parade just because you don't necessarily understand or like it?
Some people are built for polyamory. Some people are built for I'm not
Monogamy.
gonna say monogamy, but what's
No, that is the word.
Yeah, I think it is the word.
yeah. Some people are built for monogamy. Some people are built for polyamory. So it's all in what you want, what you're open to, and as long as you respect each other and work with each other, it will work.
Amen, sister.
All right. So that's it. So we're back on the Twitch now. I'm not really keeping a regular schedule, but we're showing up a bit. Well, we're showing up weekly now. Continuing into tuning, and I'm going to start going into. I was asked to start playing The Adventures of Lolo, which is like the old NES game, which is so fucking frustrating. But yes, I'll play it.
You should play Krusty's Funhouse.
I will not play Krusty's Funhouse.
How about the Simpsons, Bart Simpson mini putt for Game Boy?
Oh, I'll find
Is
that.
that a thing?
The Halloween one.
I'll find that.
Itchy and scratchy.
Yeah, we'll find that. But yeah, keep an eye out on twitch.tv/Men of the Den for that. But otherwise, tune in to the rest of guys' videos this week. I was already talking to Ed. Ed's having some internet issues and won't be posting for a little bit, but he'll let you know when he's ready when he comes on to say hello.
Nice.
All right, well, bye everybody.
Bye.
Arrivederci, au revoir, sayonara.